Petition by head teachers is adopted by the National Assembly. The petition by the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association, that is KESHA, seeks, among other things, to have school fees for all categories increased. As Shadrach Miti reports, principals want fees for extra county schools raised by at least 25,000 shillings, moving it from the current 40,535 shillings to 66,023 shillings per year.
That my office has received a petition from one Mr. Indimuli.
When the petition by the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association finally landed at the Speaker's desk a few weeks ago, it generated heated debate on the floor of the National Assembly, with members of Parliament castigating the Minister of Education for not allowing principals to increase fees, yet schools are not getting adequate funding from the government.
The petitioner is concerned that despite the increase in capitation per learner, the government of Kenya subsidy for the free-day secondary program has consistently been lower than the actual enrollment.
Whereas on one hand, head teachers are not allowed to charge extra fees. On the other hand, the government has consistently failed to remit the capitation money. So how then do you expect these heads to run their schools?
There is always a financing gap of about 22 billion shillings in secondary school education funding. And therefore, that occasions the deficit.
Mr. Speaker, if you get to know the figure that is given for exams, if you get to know the amount of money that is given for sports, it is so little, Mr. Speaker, that it cannot be able to run the education system.
We've been asking the Ministry of Education why is it that we cannot get capitation in full? And the Ministry of Education has always told us that whatever they were given, they have given us. And our argument has been whatever they have given us is not enough. So where is the problem? If the ministry is saying they have given us everything and we are saying we've not received and therefore we need parents to come and chip in, and the ministry says no, parents cannot chip in because we are giving capitation.
The petition by the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association, KESHA, has proposed an increase in school fees for all school categories from sub-county to national. Accordingly, principals want school fees for national schools increased by 19,628 shillings from the current 53,554 shillings per year to 73,182 shillings per year. Extra county schools will have the highest increase of 25,488 shillings from the current 40,535 to 66,023 shillings per year. If adopted and fully implemented, learners in the sub-county schools, which are purely day schools, would also be required to pay 5,372 shillings.
Unless you want us to continue burying our heads in the sand, we must either say that the government is unable to support secondary education by way of capitation or allow the head teachers to charge extra fees.
Because we must never allow, under this strenuous economic times, any head teacher anywhere to increase fees. The government of Kenya should be able to pay school fees for all our children.
The sub-county schools, where they are expected not to charge anything, and then this capitation does not come. You can imagine what my colleagues in those sub-county schools are going through when they are unable to have money to service whatever creditors they have.
All secondary school learners are allocated 22,244 shillings per year. The government has been remitting less money to schools. Add this to the challenge of delayed capitation, and principals say their work is increasingly becoming difficult.
The 2022-2023 financial year, 794,000 children were not being considered or were not being funded. Those that are on NEMIS. These numbers have been increasing from 2018 up to 2020, up to 2023. And as they increase, there are deficits in the funding. You have students in school whose funding has not come, but you have to take care of them.
Shadrach Miti, KTN News.